off, the heels are on. It's Let Me Finish with Emmy Award-winning sports reporter Suzy Shuster and senior West Coast editor of Vanity Fair, Krista Smith. It's not easy to get a word in edgewise, but they'll try. And now, here's Krista and Suzy.
Hi, I'm Suzy. This is Krista. This is the show where we talk about everything that everyone else won't talk about. And Krista, I know for me, I'm doing this show much like Mike Tyson for the drug money. You?
I'm doing it for Ron Artest, plain and simple, for self-betterment.
No, I think it's a good idea. We're going to take a trip into Crazy Town today. We're going to debate who's crazier, Mike Tyson or Ron Artest. Kardashian Watch, of course, as always on this show. We will talk Mike Tyson's ass. I mean, who wouldn't talk Mike Tyson's ass? We're going to talk about Shaq. Has he found a new home? Is it in Italy or in the country? And by the way, how old is Shaq and how many years has he been playing? But of course, the most important stuff to talk about right off the top is Brett Favre. Is he retiring or not? More reports coming out of Mankato, Minnesota about Brett Favre possibly calling Brad Childress his coach and saying, I'm done yet again. I mean, shock the world. Maybe he's saying once and for all that his ankle has not been surgically repaired properly. But what do you think? Is he done?
I mean, I think that Brett Favre can't unretire unless he retires. So I think he's got to retire so then he can unretire.
Right.
But basically, my opinion is this is a LaFavre. LeBron at least had the decency to have an hour-long special. It was 60 minutes. That was it. So this has been going on for 3 years. I mean, honestly, Suzy, I don't see how, as a God-fearing guy, he could do this to Minnesota. Right. They don't. Who do they have? How
so
can
this
he
is the LaFavre Watch 2010.
This is LaFavre Watch, exactly.
I mean, like, this is perfect for all the local people in Minnesota. This is like,
I mean,
this
sells
is
newspapers.
This is Christmas.
I'm sure it sells newspapers, and listen, it's all anybody talks about. But I mean, come on, LeBron gets a shaft with all this stuff, and you're like, come on, Favre, where's John Elway weighing in? Where's Joe Montana weighing in on this? It's insane.
Well, that's just because LeBron's a young Turk, and all the older guys are saying, like, shut up already. I mean, he's been playing since the Ice Bowl. This is ridiculous.
Right.
I mean,
and
he's been
41.
around. He's been around since the dawn
right.
of time. He's in the era with the woolly mammoths. But I've been telling you all along, he sits at home, he sits there back in the bayou, and he pulls the strings out of all the media. He makes little phone calls. He throws a pass to a quarterback in high school or to a bunch of wide receivers. I think he's laughing his ass off, saying, maybe I'll just show up. Hey, man, he's got a two-year deal. He's got a 2-year deal, Krista.
But, Suzy, I
saw... He can't retire now. Okay. He's got a 2-year deal.
All right, but I saw on Any Given Sunday, okay, Lauren Hawley, that football player's wife. What
she always
does
plays
Mrs. Brett Favre think in Minnesota? I mean, they live in Mississippi. He's going to Minnesota. He's a grandpa. He's got kids. I mean, she's probably fed up at this point. He's 41. I mean, I'm kind of torn because I actually think, like, can his ankle really recover? Does he have the time to recover? Mm-hmm. I know he doesn't want to do training practice. I know he doesn't want to go through training camp, and he wants to waltz right in and throw the balls. And I know he's been in the high school in Minnesota like he always does, and Mississippi doing his thing. So, like, his patterns are the same.
His own agent called him a quote-unquote drama queen. Now, that was, of course, tongue-in-cheek, but he called him a drama queen.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, God, again. Like, and by the way, I apologize. I sound a bit like Kim Carnes today. I have Betty Davis eyes, apparently. I was trying to go with Demi Moore, but unfortunately, it's not nearly as sexy as that. But it's crazy.
It's crazy, but we've got Rich Eisen here with us, host of NFL Network, to join in and give his thoughts on the whole LaFavre situation.
Hey, Rich, you with us yet?
I am with you guys. How are you?
We're great. We're great. So, Rich, what do you think?
I think nothing's over until it's over. That with Favre, veteran Favre watchers know not to flinch today, and that he did the same thing last year with his arm. Mm-hmm. That he said he wasn't coming, and then he came to camp. Within 2 weeks of him saying no, he was being picked up at the airport by his head coach. So there's still 2 weeks until camp is broken, and 2.5 weeks till the first preseason game. It turns into the second, so that's when he'll show up, I think.
So you don't think he's done? You think this is all kind of going through the motions and all the Ed Werder nervousness and LaFavre Watch 2010 and what have you. You still think he's coming back, don't you?
Well, yeah, Ed Werder may be nervous, Suze, but you know I'm steady as a rock when it comes to this. That I'm not flinching one bit. That this is something that he may have woken up over the last couple days and felt he felt compelled that he should tell his teammates something, tell his team something, because training camp has started. He is under contract. He's not there. we all know he won't be there until it's time to start playing a second preseason game, just like last time.
All right,
and
but
maybe his ankle could have been hurting him, and he's just said something to somebody that may have either been misconstrued or leaked, because we haven't heard anything from him yet.
right, but Rich, you got to, I mean, he is 41. He did have ankle surgery, so isn't there the recovery on that? I mean, don't you think there is as seasoned as you are, isn't there a little bit of you that's nervous that he actually might not come back?
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, he may feel, that he can't do it anymore or doesn't want to do it, but I think after a preseason game is played and another one comes around, that's next Sunday, and then another one comes around and it's his team and he's seeing this from his couch, maybe his ankle might feel a little bit better, and so it's never over until the Vikings play an entire regular season without him at quarterback, because he could even show up week 8 this year. I mean, there's that. Even if it doesn't say now, I think it's time for us to just take a step back.
All right. Well, to that point, if he doesn't return, if he actually does retire, or if he doesn't come until week 8, what does that mean for Minnesota?
Well, I mean, it means Tavares Jackson time. It means it's time to see if this second-round pick from Alabama State that they took a few years ago is ready to do this. And I don't think anybody really does believe that he's ready for prime time. If Favre comes back, they're a bona fide Super Bowl candidate. If it's Tavares Jackson, then they're at best a team to be reckoned with, and we'll see. And then that's not even a guarantee if Favre comes back that he won't be a 41-year-old that hobbles around and isn't as effective. So we don't know.
Yeah.
Well, 41-year-olds do tend to hobble around.
Yeah.
Well, they'll look, as you know, Suzy, they look good in Wrangler jeans.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's what I said. I said, he can do a lot. And Leroy Butler, of course, Rich, you saw that came out this week, his ex-Green Bay Packer teammate, saying that, of course, he's going to come back. He can't do anything besides play football. I can argue that he sells jeans beautifully, but what's with all the Favre bashing?
Well, I mean, everyone's a lot of people are sick and tired of him saying he's not coming, or he is coming, or he's coming, or is that he won't make a decision, and it's his prerogative not to do it. I personally love it. It gets me through the night on NFL Network, and we are so close to games being played again, so very close, and people just think he's a diva, and you even saw the quote that was attributed to his agent in Men's Health magazine, where he was, very upset with Brett for talking to Ed Werder, because Brett likes talking to people. He's a very talkative, gregarious guy, and
he's from Mississippi. He's from the Bayou. These people talk. Hey, Rich, we were talking about this before. Krista's calling him LaFarve. I mean, she thinks this is equal to the decision. So, I mean, she's upset that John Elway hasn't come out busting some ass over this. I mean, I just don't see it as the same deal. The guy's been playing for 900 years.
It's still a drama. It doesn't matter if you've been playing for 5 minutes or since the Ice Age, as you said. It's still drama. It's still taking up the airtime. Where is he going? Coming or going? Not coming? It's the same thing, I think.
Well, just because there's so much on the line. I mean, like I said, the Vikings can actually win the Super Bowl this year if he comes back and is the same guy that they saw last year. And if he isn't, then a lot of hearts are going to be broken.
I mean, he's coming back. This is just such a dumb conversation.
I agree with you, Suzy.
He's coming back.
100%. Right. I could give you a date of August 16th. That is the Monday after their first preseason game. That preseason week is they play a Sunday night football game on NBC. They break camp in the middle of whatever campus from that they play on in upstate Minnesota, and. Then they'll come back to Minneapolis and start practicing there, and I think that's when you're going to see him.
Hey, what about Sam Bradford, Rich? I mean, this week we find out the kid's worth now apparently $50 million, and what's it, reported $78 million all in all? I mean,
$78 million contract, $50 million guaranteed.
$8.3 million more than Matthew Stafford made last year with the worst team in the NFL. Rich, I don't like this whole idea of giving these kids so much money before they even take one snap. What's your take on it?
The NFL is the only business in America that takes the top student or student athlete from campus and makes him or her the highest paid lawyer, or there's no other place that makes them a highest paid lawyer or a highest paid stockbroker in the history of the firm before they've even adjudicated a case or or struck a trade on the trade floor. It's bizarre. It's something that everybody, I think, agrees needs to be fixed. It goes completely counter to the NFL culture of accountability and responsibility. It's not.
It's
It's not anything I think anybody
And-
wants to see save the Bradford family.
By the way, I
wasn't
totally
this-
screwed him. I screwed him $10 million. It's $86 million.
Well,
So I
isn't
just
it-
federal governmented him.
But here's the thing that I want to know. Wasn't he just the talk before the pro day? Wasn't it all about his arm, his shoulder, Isn't this guy actually already having surgery on his arm?
That's another thing. Is he's got everyone thinks that he should give 10% to Dr. James Andrews, who
Yeah,
put
no
his arm
kidding.
back together.
Yeah.
No kidding.
And arm injuries are a fickle beast when it comes to quarterbacks. I mean, Matthew Stafford had one last year, and it's something that usually is like a concussion, for the lack of a better phrase. It's easier to recur the second and third times. And, the Rams are betting that that's not going to happen, because that is an awful lot of money to guarantee.
He's
And
gonna
again, that's like a punishment for a team that's in such doldrums that they have to take the biggest risk of any team as well. It's sort of absurd in every possible way.
Isn't this just a very dangerous precedent of the NFL, though, to pay a kid this much money? I mean, what's next? $100 million for basically coming out of the womb?
Well, it's $100 million for Peyton.
Right.
His contract's up next, and I'm sure his agent, who's the same agent, by the way, that just struck the Sam Bradford deal, his
Tom
agent's going
Condon?
to say, well, you're paid this guy's making $50 million guaranteed without having had a single snap. This means at least 75 to 80 guaranteed for Peyton Manning next, and then soon it's going to happen.
And then it's Tom Brady after that.
Everybody expects that in the next iteration of the collective bargaining room, whenever that happens, that this insanity is going to stop.
All right. Well, Rich, thanks a lot for joining us.
And Suze, I love the Demi Moore and a pack of cigarettes huskiness. I really do.
Thank you. I smoked the whole way here. Marlboro Reds, babe. A little
There you
Jim
go.
Beam in the car to keep me going.
Well done.
Thank you very much. Continuing our trip down Crazy Town, because, why would we stop now? LeBron James, a handwritten note to his local newspaper. We're going NBA now. A handwritten note to his local Akron newspaper apologizing not one word about Cleveland, which I think was a kind of poor taste. But not one word about that, but saying, you're my heart, you're my love, Akron, it's all about you, but by the way, bye-bye, I'm in Miami. I mean, did he have to write that note?
I love the note. What was wrong with the note? One, it was handwritten. Two, it's where he grew up. It's where his mentors were, where he learned to play basketball, and it was him acknowledging Ohio. He just played it for Cleveland because that's where the team happened to be. It wasn't in Akron, it was in Cleveland. I mean, I think enough already with the LeBron bashing. I mean, the guy, he wrote the note, he's letting them know he's going to be back, he's going to give back to that city. He still identifies with Akron and Ohio, and I just think it's great. I didn't mind it at all, and I love that he probably gave that newspaper a lot of business, which I'm sure, as you know, newspapers are dying. So the
agreed.
Akron Register, forgive me, I don't have the exact name, I hope that's it, but that how many more newspapers did they sell? So good on him.
You love him.
I
You
love him.
him.
And I can't wait. Well, look, speaking of that, Miami.
You know who doesn't love him?
Yeah.
You know who doesn't love him?
Yeah, well, this week, I don't know if you happen to catch it, but basically the cheerleaders are the only people left standing at that stadium because the entire sales team was made redundant because basically where they have 6,000 people
On the
waiting list for season tickets.
30 people fired. 30 people, the entire staff of sales for the Miami Heat, let go this week because there's no chance they can sell one more ticket. So now he's basically TARP. I mean, basically he's glowing in. He's the new Goldman Sachs. It's crazy. I mean, LeBron has now taken on a life of his own. I mean, let's face it, like Lloyd Blankfein or LeBron.
It's great.
Who's worse for the economy?
But it's what he wanted. It's what he wanted. But it is. Maybe they'll all start selling real estate. I don't know. They've got sales. They know how to sell. So, hopefully they can transition that into selling
or they can help
properties.
the chicks work out.
They look great.
They
Who
look
doesn't want to go to South
the one
Beach?
in the middle looks a little angry.
Those are the three. That's the three amigos, huh?
Not one of those girls has had a
Excellent.
carb in 15 years.
All right. Well, let's talk about my other favorite basketball player. Suzy, who do you think that is?
Oh, let me guess. Let me think. Did he shave his head and write things into it? Is he admitting to crazy painkillers on national TV?
Mr.
Or is he
R.
thanking his shrink
Mr. Artest, can you please come be a guest editor at Vanity Fair? I would love it. You can shave your head. You can do whatever you want. We had Tom Ford. He did the Hollywood issue. Maybe you want to come around this year and do the Hollywood issue. We'll love you.
It's funny because that one was homoerotic. That's so surprising.
Fantastic. First of all, I can't get enough of this guy. And here's why. He says it like it is, okay? They ask him, are you crazy? And he's like, well, I got an aunt that's crazy, and I had a little crazy time, but maybe I'm not so crazy. It is kind of in the family. And I have to pull this out because I do not want to misquote my idol. My favorite, ready? Was I crazy, or was I just not sober enough to have a clear mind? That's the question. I took a marriage class. The teacher was amazing. I became a better husband. Then I took a parenting class. I became a better father. And then I took a management class, and that helped too. I got hooked on self-betterment. Okay, right now I'm calling Webster's. That should go right into the dictionary.
And Mike Tyson got hooked on hookers and blow. So I mean, like, these guys
Who
are.
would you rather have?
You know what else he got? We'll talk about Mike Tyson in a second. I'm just getting ahead because he says he got hooked on self-help programs like AA, which I think is so funny. Here's my question. This looks like a Twilight poster. He's like staring longingly at some little intern. Is this what Vanity Fair looks like? I mean, this is hysterical.
Not quite. Yeah, you know, it's all basically the same. I mean, I don't think we don't have as many personal items up. That's a little more frowned upon.
What qualifies Ron to be a guest editor?
It's fantastic. Well, they do one. It's a special that they do every year, which is great. They invite someone on, and you know, they do their little Q&A interview where you get to ask questions like, are you crazy, and what's your favorite movie?
You think they put all the sharp objects away?
For Ron, I don't know. I mean, obviously they brought one sharp object because look at his hair.
Right, that's a
I mean,
good
look at that advertisement. How could you not want him? We're talking about it right now. Do you even know where to find ESPN Magazine?
No.
Yeah.
So you're the local doyen of the Hollywood elite, if you will. How did you like his review of Titanic? he did say Titanic is his favorite movie of all time, and was quite graphic about scenes including the dead baby bobbing in the water. I thought that was a nice insight from him.
Well, the best is that was Leonardo DiCaprio. That was dope, and that girl that tries to save him. I love that girl. That would be Kate Winslet, Ron Artest. But it's fantastic. I mean, I'd watch him on a show. I'd watch him on HBO, review movies. It was great. He likened Celine Dion to a voice that sounds like fresh air, what he would imagine it sounded like when the earth was created.
He's crazy.
He's fantastic.
All right, from continuing our trip down Crazy Town, well, let's take a little detour into the Shaq Daddy village. Shaq, this is actually an old picture. This is from the Suns. We know he's in Cleveland, of course, but he's now shopping for a new home and may have just found it with the Celtics. Kendrick Perkins, of course, will be out for most of the season. Who's such a big baby. I won't miss him at all. I mean, I can't stand listening to complain the whole season anyway. Jermaine O'Neal came in. He's so soft. I mean, they needed to have another big guy in the press. He's a soft guy. I'll say it right now. But Shaq is coming in. How about this? The league minimum for a veteran, a 10-year veteran, $1.35 million. He made $20 million last year with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He has made close to $291 million as an NBA player. My God, Shaq fills up his car for $1.35 million a year.
Yeah. Well, I think that here's the thing that he wanted. He wanted to go to a team that was good. He wanted to go to a team that had a chance to win a championship, okay? He's 38 years old. How many points does he average? He goes on. He wanted to get some minutes on the court, of which he will get, and he'll be effective there. I mean, frankly, I was kind of excited at the idea of him going to Italy for $10 million, and kind of retiring how we inherit Paul Henry, Terry
Henry.
and David, Terry Henry, and
my boyfriend, David Beckham?
Yes, Beckham, who come over and play for the MLS. It's the same thing. But, you know, Italy or the Celtics, he's making the right choice.
I'm sorry, aren't you shocked that I just caught the, I mean, Terry, I didn't know who Terry, I thought Terry Henry was like,
that was a test,
like
actually.
A bad,
that was a test.
I thought that's like what you get after eating
Terry
escargot.
Henry.
I have such
Terry
a bad
Henry
case of Terry
amazing.
Henry. It sounds like ennui, like
I
boredom.
almost named my son after him, Paul Henry, which is why I had that.
Well,
yeah,
I'm with you.
I love Terry
I just think the Celtics have now officially become the oldest team in the history of every sport on the planet.
Yeah, but that didn't stop them. Look where they came. Look where they went. I mean, you know, it's not going to stop them. I mean, it's all about the synergy.
I just
Shaq
like it.
Could be exactly what they need.
I just like it because I would like to see Kobe, Shaq, Celtics, Lakers, a little rematch. It'll be fun, but I just think it's going to be so interesting just because, my God, they're going to need Geritol to get up and down that court. It's going to be ugly there in Boston. I just think I love Shaq. He's one of my favorite guys of all time. I love dealing with him. He's a terrific person. And what he did say is he wants to go out with style and dignity. I hope he goes out well this way. I have a bad feeling about this one.
I don't. I have a good feeling about it, honestly. I do. I have a great feeling about it, yep. I'm happy he didn't have to go to Europe. I'm happy he doesn't have to get, Boston. It's a great place for him.
Right. How do you feel about Mike Tyson saying that he did The Hangover for drug money and that he planned on bootlegging copies of it to raise money for his cocaine binge habit?
I think it's honest.
Right.
I think it's honest, and I think he's ripe for a comeback, and he's primed for QVC. He's primed. I mean, George Foreman have the grill. I don't know how many millions of dollars he's made off of that. I mean, Mike Tyson, I was in Sundance a couple of years ago when his film, the documentary on him, Tyson, was there. He shows up in black tie at literally the dumpiest little place when everyone's in polar fleece and snow boots, and comes with his entourage and does a Q&A. He takes it all very seriously. And the documentary was very revealing, and it's a continuation of what he's doing right now. I mean, I feel bad for him. He lost his daughter, tragic accident. I mean, when he does say the best line is, we were talking about this earlier, about what is it like to weigh almost nearly 400 pounds, and his response.
Yeah, he said it's really hard to wipe your ass when you're 333 pounds. I mean, who else are you going to read stuff from other than Mike Tyson? It's a great interview in Sports Illustrated. You can still see it online right now. The most revealing, the craziest interview I've ever read my whole life. He talks about living in Vegas and basically going at it, starting his night at 2 in the morning, doing coke, pimps, whores, blow, you name it, left, right. I mean, he was out 24 hours a day.
This is what happens when you're the greatest.
And he was married still.
I know, but
to Kiki.
Well, that's irrelevant to a certain degree. The bigger point here is what happens to these guys that are at the top of their game. They're one name reference, you know who they are. Right. Where do they go? Where is the sunlit? Where do they retire? Right. That's why Brett Favre is 41, still creating drama. Where do they go from there? Car dealership? Where do you go if you're a boxer? I mean, what's the retirement?
I think you go 6 feet under or nothing.
Right, you've been beaten up. I mean, that's the thing. So from Mike, my message is to you: come on, invent something. Give us a toaster, coffee maker. Foreman did the grill, so that's out. But you've got something in you. I know you do.
I just have to say once again, I mean, maybe the funniest and just absolute one-way ticket to crazy town interview I have ever read. I mean, the guy is golden, but I just think that the Hollywood angle, of course, this whole hangover thing of actually admitting to do, and he was great in that movie.
Yeah, he was great.
Successful. They promoted the living crap out of him in that movie. I mean, they trotted him around like he was Bernie.
Yeah. Well, he got some drug money.
Indeed.
He got some cash, and he got to be in Vegas. All expenses paid for probably 2 weeks.
Let me just ask you a question. So you're working at Rain, or whatever one of those like skanky nightclubs is in Vegas, and you see Mike Tyson walk in. Do you just punch your ticket and get out before the hail of bullets start, or do you just think, I want to be his waitress tonight? I
imagine if you're a waitress at Rain in Vegas, you're pretty used to it. Yeah. I feel like Mike Tyson coming in, that's nothing that you can't handle.
Well, from one celebrity in Vegas to another who makes frequent stops in Sin City, Kim Kardashian.
In the glamorous report.
The Kardashian report, a glamorous sighting this week at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, where the Dallas Cowboys are taking their training camp. And Miles Austin, her latest amour, her paramour, her flame, she was seen hanging out with Tony Romo's girlfriend, who is, of course, an Miss Missouri. Yeah, Miss By the way, like that might as well be.
Do you know where that is on the map, Missouri?
Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, somewhere next to Cleveland, I think. Kim, I love it. I don't know what you're doing slumming in San Antonio, but I love you with this guy, so keep it up. You gave a little glamour to that place, so good for you.
I don't think he's as cute as Reggie Bush. I mean, Reggie Bush. Well, the truth is, Reggie Bush is such a four-letter word now that it's kind of like, I guess, at least
that she's not. I like the Kardashians not tainted with that scandal now.
Can we see the other shot though again? Because here's my
better than that. What shot's better than that?
That looks like the lingerie bowl, doesn't it? But here's the deal, sweetheart. Cute. You're gorgeous and sexy. You're so good at style. I mean, she actually used to be a stylist. Can you get your boyfriend to put his cap down? That's like the situation.
Yeah, she'll work on him. Give her 6 months. Give her 6 months. She'll get it.
Sorry.
That's all right.
It's a lung. It's my birthday. Leave me alone. So let's talk about things we love. And what I love is Ocho Cinco. And I've made it so clear on this show. The guy can do no wrong in my book. He tweeted out this week, he doesn't want to be known as Batman and Robin with his new best friend, T.O., who's recently joined the Bengals.
Right.
He wants to be the ass from Shrek because he's going to let T.O.B. Shrek.
That
and
is
he's willing
actually
to be the ass on the team. I love that about him.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Great sense of humor. And by the way, what a great sign by the Bengals. I mean, we kind of were hoping it happened. He wasn't going to go to the Broncos. We knew that, so I had to give that up. So I'm very happy he's the Bengals.
Yeah, you've
very
become like
happy.
a Cincinnati fan overnight.
Yeah, overnight.
Sorry,
Please.
John Elway.
Chad and T.O., that's great television.
What do you love this week?
I love this week a little princess of pop known as Lady Gaga. Vanity Fair has the exclusive on our style issue. Obsessed with her for well over a year now. We finally got her on the cover of the magazine, which is really a great treat for us.
She looks great.
And she was really fun. And when I actually met her on the shoot, and she's tiny. It just sounds like such a cliche, and I've been doing this for so long, and I'm still going to say, they're so tiny when you meet them in real life. But she was lovely, very soft-spoken, gives you a big hug. It's like, you know, does her whole like ritual. And what I love about her is that she's on the cover of Vanity Fair, because I think that's a perfect thing for us. And she talks about her behavior recently that peppered the New York Post, sold a lot of newspapers. One at a Mets game and one at a Yankee game. One where she was flipped off the cameras, another one where she was obviously walking around in lingerie. And here, when the writer talked to her about it, she had said that she was there for a birthday party, and she had too much to drink, and they were in the nosebleed seats, and she's like, the cameras wouldn't leave her alone, and she kind of apologized in that she was drunk. But my favorite thing is that a true New Yorker is at both a Mets and a Yankees game, and I just love that about her. And she actually, I think, later on in the piece talked about how much she loves the Yankees and how it's almost a religious experience if you live in New York.
Forget about it. A true Yankee or a true New York fan would never be at both.
I think
Are you
it's
kidding me?
Great, but that's what I love about sports. She's at both.
You know what that says to me? She knows nothing. That says you know nothing. You're either a Yankee fan or a Mets fan. Forget about it. There's nothing in the middle. Go back to Staten Island. You're done.
I think this outfit's a little bit better than the Mets outfit. What do you think?
No, yeah, that's a Modell's.
That's kind of hot, right?
That's Modell's. One-stop shopping. I just think in this one, she's in Jerry Seinfeld's seats. Respect. You got to respect Jerry.
Jerry.
Do you know who he is? Jerry Seinfeld. Ever heard of
I've
him?
never met him. Is he a aging Jewish comedian? Yeah.
Well, they all are. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us again. For letting me finish. I will try not to sound like God knows what.
Get the girl a throat lozenge.
Who's got a lozenge?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you. We're going to take a quick couple weeks off, but we will see you again on August 20th. Take care, everybody.
And happy birthday, Suzy Shuster.
Thanks, babe.